I used Bolt more than 20 times every day for the entire last month, and it completely changed the way how I build websites now. If you don't know, Bolt.new is an app builder through which you can build full apps or websites just using prompts in simple English. But over the last month, I have challenged myself to take part in their hackathon and use the product almost every day.
And I actually film my progress every single day. You can find the full playlist of the journey right here on this channel.
My websites looked really bad at the start. I almost went through every YouTube tutorial on using Bolt. All of them just covered the same stuff: how to prompt, how to deploy your project, and all the beginner tips. And some of them helped, but I was still stuck in the same problems. But after trying again and again over the last 30 days, I discovered something new. I learned these three core techniques that really helped me improve how I was building apps. And if you also want to build out websites that look like this, or something like this, then you should watch this video until the end. Let's dive in. I want to keep it short. I would just be covering the points that I did not find on any other YouTube video. The first thing is keeping the main app and the landing page separate. I know you must be thinking why, but if you look at any major company, all of them build their products this way. For example, this website called clickup.com. So if I log in over here, then once I'm logged in, then I'm redirected to app.clickup.com. This is basically their main app, their functioning app that is hidden behind the landing page. Companies usually do it so that it's easier for the marketing team and the product team to take ownership of their own pages. But the reason this works really well in Bolt as well is because Bolt does not manage big files really well. So if you want to change something on your landing page, it also changes something on the main product that you don't want to. So to keep both of those things separate, it's the best thing to do. And it's not only ClickUp that does it. If I just write app dot on my browser, I will see that so many apps that I use every day use this entire scheme. Even Clipchamp, this is an app by Microsoft. So that's the first tip. Deploy your main app on app dot whatever your website is .com, and the landing page can be on the main website itself. This is how we also built out the app that we created for our hackathon project. We created this app called sketchmind.me, and when you click on get started, you would be redirected to this another subdomain app.sketchmind.me. So this way the app was much faster to create because we were two people working on this app. One could work on the landing page and another person could work on the main app. Now talking about the second part, you can also connect your Superbase account. So in some websites you will see that even if you go on their homepage, if you look on the top right, you will see that this sign just changed from sign in to dashboard because it was able to figure out that I have already used their app in the past. And when I click on dashboard, then I'm redirected to their main app. This was possible because their landing page is also connected to the same database where the list of every user is being maintained. Although your app with only 100 users does not need it at this point, but still if you would want to enable this, you can connect the same Superbase account to both your main app and your landing page, and whenever a signed in user comes up, the sign in or the sign up icon can change to dashboard or your main app. Now moving on to the second one, using the discuss mode. If you go on Bolt, you will see that there is an icon below the chat window. This is the discuss mode. When you turn this on, then whichever message that you send to the agent does not make any changes within your code. So if I ask it scan the entire repository and tell me where the bugs are. If I would not be using the discuss mode, then it would most probably look for the bugs and actually also try to fix them. But in this case, it would only be going through the bugs and coming back with its observations. There are three instances where this is really helpful. The first one is when you're planning a new feature. In this website, if I want to add a new feature, I can use this discuss mode and make sure that it has broken down the entire things into steps, and it clearly identifies the file that it needs to edit and what is the new code that needs to be put up there. Think of it this way: every time you send a message, your chat has a limited context. For any newer model like Claude Sonnet 4, it would be around 128k tokens. The amount of thinking, reading, and writing a model can do every time is limited. So if you break down the thinking part and the writing part into two different messages, that would make your AI much more effective rather than making it do everything in a single message. When we are using the discuss mode, we are only using the reading and the thinking part of the model where we explain what we want to build. And once we turn off this discuss mode and ask it to implement the plan, we are only asking it to use the right functionality. So that way the model can be much more efficient. Right now on this project, if you look at the cursor, this is followed by a beam that is changing color. Let's say if I would want to change this cursor animation, I want to change my cursor to a streak of yellow hearts. I would want hearts to follow this, and I want this on the landing page only. And then I will ask it to make a plan, tell me which files to edit, and provide pseudocode. And now it has came up with the plan, so I will just click on this button, implement this plan. This one change reduced the number of bugs that I was getting within my app significantly. If I look at the implementation, it missed some points. The heart is not yellow, but the rest of the implementation looks on point. The trail of the heart looks really well, and also the first heart is bigger and the rest of the hearts are slightly smaller than that. So that's how you can use the discuss mode. Another area where this discuss mode is really helpful is debugging. You must have already heard this, but within debugging you can just paste the error that you are getting after turning on the discuss mode, and once it has came up with the solution, then you can turn off the discuss mode and implement the fix. And the final place where this also works really well is asking a question. If you want to understand how your code works, which is actually very helpful if you want to scale your project in the future, just turn on discuss mode and try to understand that how everything is implemented so that you can edit it later. Let's move on to the third one, using a second brain. You can do it in two ways. The first thing is you can just download this entire repository from here and go to ChatGPT or any other LLM. You can also go to Claude or Gemini, but make sure it has tool calling enabled. I will drop this entire project here, mention the problem I'm facing. I will just ask it to go through the entire repository and find the bugs for me. ChatGPT have access to a lot of tools, and one of this tool enable it to look within zip folders. You can see here that it is looking inside individual files and looking for bugs. This can take up a lot of time if your repository is huge. And almost after 2 minutes, ChatGPT came up with all the errors, all the bugs within the project. From here, you can ask ChatGPT to give you steps that you can share with Bolt. But a drawback of using ChatGPT here is if your project is really huge, then it won't work with ChatGPT because ChatGPT has a fixed context limit. If your file is bigger than that, then it won't be able to look into it. In those cases, the method that really works out is using Git ingest. If you're not already using GitHub on your repository in Bolt, I would recommend you to do it. For using this, just come on integrations and select GitHub and it will automatically connect your GitHub account. I've already uploaded this repository, so it's already synced with GitHub. Now, if I click on go to repository, this would take me to the repository. By default, any repository that Bolt creates is a private repository. Now, in this method, what you have to do is just change the word hub to ingest. So I will just change it from GitHub to Git ingest. And when I click enter on this, then it will just show me a visualization of the entire repository. Since this is a private repository, so I would have to share my access keys with it. After doing this, it was able to look into the entire repository. You can see that you can also copy a summary of this repository, directory structure, or the file's content. But another interesting thing that you can do over here is if your file size is really big and ChatGPT cannot look into all the files, you can exclude some of these files that are actually not required for analysis. So I can remove files like readme.md and some canvas components, basically the components that you are sure are not related to the error that you are getting. All these files are removed from here. So you can just copy this entire thing and ChatGPT can now go through your project. So this is another way of using a second brain or ChatGPT o3 or any other reasoning model. You can also use Gemini 2.5 Pro here onto your code base so that you can find errors within your project. And now the last one. These are majorly tips that I found online but were really effective for me and are not that well known. So the first one over here is giving references for design. If you want to design anything inside your project, for example, if you look at this entire hover animation, So such animations cannot be built out using just prompting because it's very difficult to explain it to Bolt that what you actually want to create. In those cases, you can use a couple of websites. The first website is 21st.dev. You can just go on the website and you can just find any component that you think matches your website well, and you can just click on open component over here. Next, just click on copy prompt. This would give you a prompt that you can use within Bolt for recreating this entire component. So this is how you can create actually good looking websites from Bolt. You must have seen some of these on Twitter, on LinkedIn, where people are showing off really good looking websites that they have created using AI. So this is the secret sauce. This is what everyone is using. Now the second part is, rather than chunking a very big prompt into Bolt, break down your entire prompt into simpler pieces. Use something like ChatGPT or Claude here for breaking down your bigger prompt into sub prompts that you can share with Bolt. One important thing is, in every prompt that you share with Bolt, make sure that you mention that you would also be sharing other prompts after this, so that Bolt does not end up writing code for that section assuming all the details by itself. Third part is using cursor for finer control. If you want very fine control on the behavior of a certain component, then you would have to go within cursor.ai. It's another AI tool and it's slightly difficult than Bolt, but it usually gives you better result. You can check out these other videos on my channel to learn how you can use cursor. And the final point is, connect with GitHub right away from the start of the project itself. You must be thinking that if Bolt fucks up, I can just click on this undo button over here and it will restore my project to the last save checkpoint, which is actually true. But Bolt does not keep your entire chat history. I've been creating this project from the last 40 prompts, but if I scroll upward, I will see that there are only 5 6 last chats that are being saved over here. Apart from that, everything else is deleted. So if your project becomes super large, then it's best that you connect GitHub with it, because every time you make a change, all those changes will be synced with GitHub. And if you would want to restore to any specific change, you can do it using GitHub. Those were all the things that I learned during this 30-day period. If you enjoyed watching this video, do consider liking and subscribing to the channel. If you want all of this within a PDF format, you can also download the cheat sheet from the description below. That's all for this video. I will see you in the next one.